You are watching Stories Untold. I am Pulem Mulebatsi, back again this week to deliver your weekly dose of positive and uplifting news. Thank you for being here. Community centers and shelters are perceived to be places of safety, but that's not always the case. When Catherine Moropa reported for duty on her first day of work at an outreach center, the unthinkable happened. She now details the unfortunate incident and how that forced her to create a safe space for women and children in her community. Let's see.
Phagameng is a village just outside Modimolle, a small town in Limpopo. Like any other outskirt, the life here is simple and quiet, with very little prospect of anything beyond what one sees. Stewing in the legacy of ineffective service and social exclusion, the people of this village are trapped in dire poverty. Like everyone in this community, these children await a better tomorrow or something to eat. This van parks in this corner every Thursday, and every time the people of this community catch sight of it, they all rush to this spot, each person wanting to be number one in the queue. On this day, they do not have to spend money they do not have. This food is free. This initiative belongs to 39-year-old Catherine Moropa. Catherine, also a rape survivor, is the founder of Modimolle Victim Support Center. The center primarily caters to gender-based violence survivors, but also most needs of this community.
This thing is a calling, because while I was at primary school, I used to take care for the kids that I don't know. Then I went to high school. It continued. We were at the boarding school. Then there were children by Longore. The parents sometimes got the long weekends. They don't come and see them. I would take them to my home. Then that thing was growing. Then I went to tertiary in Pretoria. I saw the children on the street. Then the same thing was happening. So I think it was a calling. We do outreach, which includes campaigns, going out, prevention programs. And the other thing is the food drive that we're doing every Thursday. And we're also doing the tutorials for the maths and accounting, and also the entrepreneur empowerment, like the people who are putting on the support group. If sometimes they want to start something on their own, there is someone who's assisting them doing that, registering their business, independent.
Founded in 2005, but this, however, is not all there is to her story.
The crisis center, they go in our town, whereby they were doing counseling for the abused, but it was within the township.
Catherine was an employee at the place.
I was excited because it was my very first day at work. Then after introducing me to the work that I have to do and everything, then everybody left. I was alone there. Then another guy came in. I thought he needed help because by then I was not trained. I was the referrals by then. So I thought he needed help. And it's when he got inside and I saw him closing the door and he started attacking me. Then it's when he raped me within the premises. When the incident happened, I was pregnant. I lost the baby. So I was angry. I wanted to commit suicide because I thought maybe also the partner I was with treat her bad because of the rape thing. Then I was in isolation for days. I wanted to be alone. It took some time before I recovered. But I was bitter, to be honest. I was very bitter.
And that would have been the end of the beginning for most people.
After the incident, they called me, the board of that organization. They called me to ask me if I still willing to continue doing the work after the incident. Then because it was what I wanted to, and also now it was severe that I went through that pain also. I told them that I'm continuing.
How then did we move from there to you starting your own center?
So I went through counseling. I got support from social development, and it's whereby I accepted everything. And later on, within that period, it's whereby I have to mention that I was diagnosed with HIV within the process, and I saw that there is a need for this to be within the community because it was far, it was in town, it was not accessible. So I spoke to the people there that now I'm going to start the organization within the community.
A dawn of hope for the people of Phagameng community. With over 16 years in existence, residents here continue to seek help from the center. Stories Untold spoke to 33-year-old Maria, not her real name. A mother of 4, Maria is a gender-based violence survivor.
I was raped in 2019. I was engaged by that guy so yeah, her ex-boyfriend, previous ex-boyfriend, not baby daddy. Ex-boyfriend, the second maybe ke sena le ngwana mo bophelong ba ka. A tsena mo boshiu, boyfriend then and engaged and a night shift. A tsena mo boshiu ka bo 7-8 because no tsene easy dingo. A tsena a ntshupa ka dithipa le ditšhomi tša hae ba ntšea le ngwana ba nripa ba mpetha. Ke mo ke kgonneng kopana le victim support center. Ba ntse re mo hae ba tsamaya le nna because ne ba re ba mpolaya ka re ba se ka mpolaya ba tsamaya le nna.
Why did he want to kill you?
A re yena o sa nrata, yena a ka se lose because di-feelings tsa hae di sa nrata. Trauma e ne ke le ka mogara yona ne ke sa kgone ho ja, like ne ke sena appetite, mmele ka o phela o lapile, ke phela ke lla ka feletsa kopana le homeboy o mongwe ba re ke Bra Stocks Masingi o nna line e la kwa a ngfeletsang kopantsha le batho ba victim support. Then ka kopana le SABC ke attenda di-session ba bolela le nna ba nthusha depression ya ka ke ya sepetlele ke attended counseling victim support ka ba ka fetsa ke healer.
The unemployed mother of 4 is well on her way to recovery. However, her past remains a thorn on her side.
But even though I have a boyfriend, Mara, I can have the feelings that I can monna. I still try to do it. Can have a boyfriend for a desperate about honor or regular joke, honor vela brotomota feeling. Can have happy again tomorrow. Normally, now, my donaka, I'm going to maybe give a rega. Or maybe baby did I maintain our high. I'm going to get a boyfriend because I had Toma Abali Enganyana Rilwa, to Toma that thing, yeah.
However, Catherine continues to offer a hand.
Yeah, SABC 1-2 sa like ke na le mo gopela tšhelete like re ke na mtlhas one rekela ona le 500 rand ke na le ya go victim support center ba mfe dijo ke na le bolela le SABC like ke tlhoka dilo ka mo jarateng ke a bolela le ena 1-2.
Welcome back. You are still watching Stories Untold. Thank you for being here. The story of community builder Charine Moropa is echoed in the lives of many women who've fallen victim to sexual violence. But what sets her apart is how she turned that trauma into a platform that empowers other women.
There are a lot of social issues in this rural community of Phagameng. Dire poverty, femicide, and substance abuse run havoc here. However, in the midst of those struggles, some people do make time for fun. But this is just one side of the community. This is Extension 8 west of this area. 47-year-old Jane Matabuloge was amongst the people who queued here for the food parcels. The van is parked at the corner of her yard, and Stories Untold watches her as she takes the food to her family. This is her home.
Moshimanyana ko mathomo o bereka diphijo re holla bana ba be ditlolwana tsaka ba bana ba ka ba banyana so re iphidisa ka yona nna ke bereke bana ba ka ba sa hola modende so ha moshimanyana ka tso diphijo po ditlolo tsaka re ba holetse modende re le ka re khomakhomantse re khono ke ra upi dikhunyana ke a rwalla tšhelete ya khono ra foto re nka reka parafina nkira re nne mo motlhaseng ke rwalla dikhunyana kwa madlanki re khone phidisa bana ba ka tšhelete re ranga mo lapeng a ra foti ke nyana ke phela ke le number 1 re thura batla tlo phakisa cause ka sokola re phela re bola ke tla le bona ba se le ba bantši ba phakisa mo ba phela ba bona nna number 1 ba bantši ba tseba motse wa ka le ka December ba re phakisa dipaketana nyana tsa cruiser ka Christmas gore khone ja ka mo motse re di latile ko office.
And how does that make you feel every time you see the van come up?
Ya thaba
These are the only vegetables and meat in the house. Enough to feed 7 people for the day. But one can't help but wonder, what will they eat tomorrow?
Some of them ke ra sente ke ra ke thoma ka bopipile mara ke khona reka disepanyana tsa re khona tla di tšhentša di sala se shebo after bekenyana fela a re sana tšhelete ya reka se shebo.
However, Jane does try to salvage her situation.
Anchura to reka ha aba ammereko le fast ba khone mmitse hararo ngere ha o se fast no go ngwe ya habedi mo bekeng re lebeletse tšhelete ya modendo re tsena neng ko ra maybe ke dia dikolotonyana re ka tlhole go mafafinyana bopi o tlisa to gra tsona di sentena zero khono o ja ka mo motse re khono balance.
60-year-old Sophie Mabote also queued here earlier.
Awa nara ba leboha ba re thusa ebile ha ba thome di phela di tla dijo batho ba re fa dijo botse bile ha ona wa tloa mo a ngadile a re nna se ba mphe ba file mokete awa ba re fa batho ba modimo ba re fa that's why ke raba le wa re le wa le modimo le ba le mmusho wa re ke na le bana ba shimane banyana ba ba ngwanyana o motehe ka bana ba bararo ka ngwetši ene o mo ke morumele phalane wa bo 7 mara o sane wa bo dijo re do ba re sokola fela ba zama ka yaka ya modende ke ane ke reka dijo ke patla di society engwe ke yang ka ona doctor sepetlele so anazi ke sa go botse mo mmele a ntshare botse ka re bana ka ba bereki ba lebeletse nna ke le one me bereko a e wona plus le nna mo ke le mmoteng mo a le bone ke ema masono ka ya maybe ya robe yae jale ke jo re ka re modimo wona mmusho o re phakisa bonnyane ba dijo ha o tshwane ana mola ko tlhakantsha le se sengwe ke mo kana mile ra apea raja le bana.
The them Miss Sophie refers to is Charine Moropa, founder of the only existing community center in this area. She has had to work with different stakeholders to get the center and this initiative off the ground.
SAPS is only funding that facility only, but for the operational, it's social development and the National Development Agency and the National Lotteries. Yes, are the donors, and also Club Help Maker, where we get the food.
Gender-based violence is the root on which the center is founded. And every Thursday on their distributions, the center never forgets to address the community before handing out the parcels. This is done by their social worker. Much like the residents of this community, the staff at Modimolle Victim Center have their own stories to share.
And we are back. This time we are looking at how a good deed can have a ripple effect. Charine Moropa has put together a team of individuals who support her initiative.
Charine Moropa has dedicated most of her life helping the destitute in Phagameng community. Over the years, other Good Samaritans have availed themselves to help her carry the load.
The whole town had a combined organization which was called Food Drive, where they were involved with Tiger Brand and all the others that donated food to us. And eventually, when that stopped and the food drive basically got stopped due to donations, we went ahead and never stopped in actual fact. We had to, our members, plus Katie and the center that she supports, we saw the need. It's heartbreaking, and we support them. And I went to donate people that donate the stuff and the food stuff to us, and they decided to expand what we get for Katie and the crisis center in Phagameng.
Stefan Kloppers is chairperson of Club Help Mekar, a support center for Modimolle people.
We are 103 families which are members. You've got to become a member to get anything from our shop, Club Help Mekar. And the community has kept it going. Our people that we support has increased tremendously. No reason except now for the COVID, which is really heartbroken, because especially the kids, where we found 10 kids living in a house without parents, and we've got to support them. There's nobody else is going to look after them, and that is where myself and Katie, we had a lot of cases in the lockdown. We are both Christians, strongly faithful in Jesus Christ, which is our Savior, and we believe that each and everything that we receive, that He had a hand in it to touch people's hearts, that they can supply to us, and we've got the privilege to distribute all these food stuff.
Food isn't the only thing that Stefan has donated to Charine. Both believers in the Word of God, sharing Bibles also seemed a good idea. It is that very same word that brings children and their parents to Kathy's house. Every Saturday, residents of this village gather here. Charine also speaks of the people who work at the center.
Their family background, like and also some went to school and they came back. They were just home and they started to volunteer. Most of them, they did their matric. Some went to varsity. So because of unemployment, they ended up being here, giving back to the community.
24-year-old Solomon Mogapi is a Wits graduate.
So it started with the one of raising awareness on the substance, on the abuse of substances. So really people, these things, they're affecting the society. So who is actually taking part in solving these things? And around there is a center, victim support center, so actually I can become part of the sessions. And then now what I have to do is to raise awareness on the dangers of substance abuse. And whenever you grab out I should refer them to the center, motivate them to come to the center, or let's say what services around. So that is actually I started becoming part of the center.
An accountant and tutor at the center, Soli, like Catherine, sure has a big heart. However, corporate is where he sees himself.
We receive victims of gender-based violence. They will at times come and tell us about the need for their children to have such sessions, tutorial sessions. So they were struggling in demanding subjects such as accounting, physics, and math. So that is actually when the manager dedicated the task that whenever they need such services, we should provide them. I think I'm going to be part of it along the way. So maybe I will move from one position to another, but I will also be pushing other things, but at the same time being part of the center and the programs of the center. So if there's any service that I can offer to the center, any resource longer I have accumulated outside, I can also bring it in the center.
The environment itself is within the business area, and busy is next to the shebins and everything. It's not quiet, whereby if Moto Ali a victim will need a very quiet place.
Was there a point where you found yourself sustaining the organization, as in pocket money out of your pocket?
Yeah, a lot. When it started here, because the only resources that they've given us to come this side, it was only a table and some few chairs. So most of the things in the center, I had to pop out money to buy them so that the center can be up and running. I don't, but it's a lot of money. And the other thing, maybe Nixa Filori, it's affecting me because it was something I did from the heart. Because besides the program Dramo, I've got those who depend on me. By Lumore, I always donate, give, support. So besides really my organization, so my wish services Charine, the better this the community here. We must take them from one level to another.
It is stories such as Catherine's story that make and shape South Africa into what it is. A country that boasts of people who go beyond the norm to empower and enrich the lives of others. From myself, Phagameng, and the rest of the team, goodbye.
Hey.